Yo, welcome to Bias Brothers. We have here another show. David Scarlett alongside me, and you have Dexter Cyrus, head coach of Point Fortin Civic Center, former national player, as well as former coach of St. Benedict's College. So we're gonna have an interesting show today. We're basically gonna again just get some more information regards to the feeling and a coach's perspective with regards to the impasse between FIFA and the TTFA. Coachman, first of all, welcome to the show.
Yeah, nice
We
to
want
be
to
here.
thank you for taking time out just to kind of come on and give us your give us your vision on what and as well as your opinion on where the national game is and how we can move forward. So just quickly, we just want to get your thoughts on the FIFA versus the TTFA impasse.
Initially, when initially when the United TTFA decided that they would, well, I should say, stand up to FIFA. It felt. I think the country felt good about it. I think it was noble. It had people who was on the fence. It had people who was against it. But um, I don't think anybody wanted a ban. Even though you felt good about it, I don't think anybody wanted to get banned. So a lot of people had mixed emotions, which was including myself. Um, I honestly don't think that the United TTFA wanted Trinidad and Tobago football to be banned by FIFA. But based on how long they went on with their actions, I understand that the reason that we end up getting banned was not because that they dropped the case. It was because that they filed the papers 3 minutes late. That in itself is something with for me. FIFA is a very big entity. FIFA is not like a human being. I thought that was harsh. 3 minutes. I think that was harsh. But at the end of the day, based on the fact that you actually went against FIFA regulations, I think FIFA decided, well, you went against the regulations anyhow, and you still come late, so we will ban you. So um, I think it is a melting pot of mixed emotions, but I don't think that anybody thought that. I think everybody thought that FIFA moved. They were a bit high-handed, but yet still, I don't think that the general public wanted Trinidad and Tobago to get back. You know,
Okay, no problem. So do you think that the United TTFA would mean in William Wallace and they initially taken office and after 4 months being thrown out, do you think they were treated unfairly?
yeah, I thought that was a bit high-handed because they didn't incur the debt. The debt that FIFA stated that they had to take care of and what was accumulated. They didn't incur. They came and met that.
Okay, no problem. So with
Yeah.
regards to if you were in the shoes of William Wallace and at the present situation, would you go forward or would you take a step back? Just from
For me,
your personal.
I I might have done what William Wallace did initially, but from the time this from the time FIFA gave the correspondence that if you don't drop the case, you'll get banned. Personally, for me, I would have stepped back. I think it at that time it became bigger than me or bigger than anybody, and I would have stepped back because um, I'm not seeing I'm not seeing you're you're fighting that battle and winning.
Okay.
Even if the United TTFA gets to run football in Trinidad and Tobago, it after that you still have to go back to the same FIFA. So at the end of the day, it's a situation where I don't know. I honestly thought that mind you, I honestly thought that what will Wallace and Lecloy and all the other vice presidents, I thought that it was a very noble act, but not at the cost of getting banned.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know?
Okay. And that's the feelings of most persons. They think that it's actually a lose-lose situation. We confront FIFA and yes, we think that we've been treated unfairly, but what was the gain? What's the end goal at the end of the day? Most people feel as though well, even if we beat FIFA, they don't give us any funding. We can't play against other nations in FIFA. So then, does that leave the local game? So I think that's where most persons was having an initial issue with them continuing the case.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think I think after I think after all of this, you have to go back and face the same FIFA. You have to go back to the same FIFA. I think financially, I think it will be very tough for Trinidad and Tobago. But also putting myself and the administration and United TTFA and all these people aside, this is a real blow for the players.
Yeah,
It's a real blow for the players. I mean, I had my time as a player already. It's a real disheartening thing. Every single player I spoke to is disheartening because at the end of the day, you know, players playing football in the country and they want to play for Trinidad and Tobago. They want to be seen. They have a dream of football giving them a better life. I mean, so putting myself aside and Mr. Wallace and uh, Locloy and the United TTFA and putting all those things aside is a serious blow for the players. You understand? I think that and I will always say that I thought that initially what Wallace and Locloy did was very noble and upstanding, but I did I don't think that they should have carried that far. I think they could have. Well, obviously, I think they kept a meeting the day before, or the night before the deadline, and the um the majority ruled and said that they don't want to get banned, so let we back off, and they did such, and I guess 3 minutes has us where we are now.
yeah.
3 minutes late has us where we are now.
Okay. Yeah, give us an interesting perspective there when you said a number of players you spoke to express this interest. We haven't spoken to any players thus far, but what if you could give us their opinion in terms of how they personally feel about the entire situation going forward? Is it one where they think that their personal career, because the career of a average footballer, let's say from about 17 to let's say 32 year best years. So a lot of them who probably older, a lot of them who young, how are they feeling with regards to this impasse as well as COVID-19?
Well, 17 to 32 is based on what part of the globe you are. That's 17 to 32, maybe South America and Europe. In the Caribbean, right, and Central America and these places, you have a pool of late developing footballers. I don't think the Caribbean has the I don't think the Caribbean has the infrastructure and all these things to create world class teenagers. I mean, we have good teenagers, but I don't think they're world class. I think for us to reach up to world class, I think maybe early 20s, mid 20s. You know, so, but more than likely, I would have spoken to the players and they who I am in charge of down at Civic.
Okay.
So, and these boys now who would have gotten the little chance on the national team, like the captain Justin Sadu, Tyrell Papi Emmanuel, very bright and upcoming young player. But these boys, they disenfranchised, they disheartened, you know, and when 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 you have to hear them talk and hear the tone of the voice and hear how they're speaking and get to realize that it heavy on them. The thought heavy on them, and now the reality has hit them where we get banned. I mean, on top of COVID, where there's a virus out there that if you get it could kill you, and you can't train, you can't play football, and we just have to sit and wait for things to get back to normal based on a vaccine. You don't want more bad news on top of that. It's like your only little glimmer of hope well, on the national team, and when a little qualifier start, I might get a play, and somebody might get to see me, and all them kind of things. Nope, nobody ain't going to see Trinidad and Tobago play.
Okay. Scarlett, anything?
Yeah, Coach Man, you said that you spoke to your players from Civic Center. Did you get a perspective from players playing abroad?
Um, I had a little chat with Levi Garcia, and I don't think that based on what he told me, I don't think that he himself was very, very, very uh disappointed in the fact that we got banned, and him not being in Trinidad, him not having any say, him not being able to do anything. He just had to say, well, all right, we get banned, and we just had to go with the flow. But I didn't speak to anybody else.
In the case that we are suspended, do you think Terry Fenwick national team would have no choice but to select foreign-based players, since players in the country wouldn't be playing football?
Of course, if we're not suspended, in order for you to stand a chance, you have to select foreign-based players who are playing abroad. Yeah,
Hmm.
because what the player in Trinidad, what is he doing? He's doing.
Well, I asked Lasana on the last podcast, since we do have any football in Trinidad, what do we do to keep the players in the country active? Do we like form a tournament, a league that could facilitate the players, like Ascension League, for example?
Well, I think that this is the only thing I think could work, based on the fact that uh, we didn't football didn't play for a year. I guess maybe a year under the David John Williams administration. Football didn't play for about a year, and then Mr. Ferguson came in and saved us, right? Mr. Ferguson came in, and he opened a league, which was the Ascension League, and football played, right? For I
Hmm.
think maybe 2.5 months, maybe 3 months, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, um, I am seeing that the Ascension League is the only way that football could actually play in Trinidad and Tobago under a FIFA ban. I think
You don't think the Pro League will cut it?
I don't. Well, the government will have to obviously partner with the guy from Rangers there, right? Ferguson, and because I guess maybe whatever money that we will not be getting in these times, I guess he might have to fill that void. That's how I'm seeing it. Because it takes money to run the TT Pro League. Players will have to get a little stipend. I mean, they might be able to get. I don't know if they will be able to get the amount that they are accustomed getting.
And I
You
do
know.
believe players are owed as well. Players still owed salaries and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. That could be so. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I just wanted to just give some insight. When we spoke to Lasana, he actually told us that when a nation is banned, they don't normally schedule FIFA qualifiers as well as other Gold Cup qualifiers for the nation. And with regards to Trinidad and Tobago, I think we have a game upcoming against probably one of the smaller islands
Montserrat,
for the
Montserrat.
Gold Cup, Montserrat, like for the World Cup, as well as we do have upcoming World Cup qualifiers in December. So,
Right.
what do you think this is like an extension of the time for us to do the right thing, or do you still view this as a ban?
Well, it was stated clearly in the correspondence from FIFA that we are banned. The fact that we might be given what we call in Trinidad and Tobago a little blight
Mm-hmm.
to get ourselves together and do the right thing so that we can be now included in Gold Cup and international friendlies and World Cup qualifiers. The fact that we getting that opportunity, that little blight, is a good thing. I mean, I'm thinking that they're putting us in a position where you're already banned, do the correct thing, or you will stay banned.
Okay.
So do the correct thing to get back into the door because we
Okay.
already out the door.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, no problem. So before the ban, there was COVID-19, and with COVID-19, a lot of the local game had to be suspended. I know that you were leading a little renaissance at Civic. The kind of football you're saying the team was playing hasn't been seen in a while. So how did you feel that the season was cut short? And what do you think is the way forward with the COVID pandemic being where it is, where we are not allowed to play contact sports, so teams are not allowed to play full-size games, they're not allowed to train either. How do you feel about that, and what do you think is the way back for local football?
Based on what was going on with me and the players down at Civic, our bubble was burst because those players they were on a high um, on the training field and on match days they were performing, right? COVID came and cut it short. But going forward, based on if we still have COVID, we don't have the resources to deal with players where, like in the NBA bubble there, where you're seeing men getting tested every 48 hours, and in England they're getting tested, players getting tested every 3 days, 72 hours, and that kind of thing. We don't have them kind of resources. You understand? So I'm thinking the way forward for us is just a matter of waiting it out.
Waiting it out.
Yeah, we had to wait it out.
We totally agree because we were seeing in different areas that they were suggesting to actually have a bubble similar to the CPL where players go from the hotel to the game and back. Persons have been saying they don't think the players in the pro league disciplined enough to follow that regimented exercise for any period of time. They don't think that it's feasible based on the differences between the football players and the facilities with regards to the cricket. What do you think?
CPL, right, has the financial backing to put players in a hotel, take them to games, take them back to the hotel, right, and test them. That is a lot of finance. I don't think we could put up all our pro league teams in hotels and take them to games and that kind of thing. The CPL also is a tournament that runs for 3 weeks, 1 month, I think. I think it's three
Yeah,
weeks.
2 weeks a month here.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I think
about a month. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's 3 weeks. So a league, a football league that is going to span maybe a 6-month period or a 7-month period.
Usually about 9 months.
Yeah, so when are we going to where are we going to get the resources to take players from hotel and that kind of thing now in this time here?
Okay, no problem. Because we were hearing that information in certain quarters. So we just wanted to get personal view on it. I think it was an idea that was shut down. So we just wanted
Yeah,
to get your personal view.
I don't think that it's realistic at all.
Okay.
Everybody wants to operate based on what they have as ideas of the ideal situation. But
Okay.
ideas of the ideal situation has nothing to do with the reality of the situation.
Okay.
What is the reality of the situation is based on what is feasible. What is feasible right now in Trinidad, based on how small Trinidad is the fact that Trinidad is too small. Trinidad is a very small place. Trinidad is too small. You can't take any chances. You can't take no chances because by the time you take a chance in 2 weeks' time, everything get blown out of control.
So with regards to
So if we do
you had Scarlett.
Alright, if Trinidad does get suspended, and when the COVID restrictions eventually get lifted, what do you do with your players knowing that there most likely isn't a competition to play in, and there's no international games to look forward to? What do you do with your players? How do you train? How do you motivate them to come out to train?
Um,
What do you do? You play friendlies against other teams. What
I
do you
don't
do?
think I don't think that we wouldn't have a competition to play. I think there would still be a league. It might be a pro league. It might be they still have the pro league. They'll still have the super league. They'll still have football in the country. Obviously, they wouldn't have any national football. But I still think that the league in Trinidad will go on. Mr. Ferguson still has a team in Trinidad, right? So even if there's no TT Pro League, there could be the Ascension League. So at the end of the day, they will have football in the country.
But
But
as you said, there's no financial backing. So, and obviously the economy took a dip during COVID. So, who would be able to host a league for 9 months in Trinidad after COVID?
um, the gentleman who owns Rangers is more than able to host a league. He might not be able to put teams up in a hotel like what you would have to do during COVID.
Well, I do mean during COVID. Like after COVID might be maybe next 2 years, who knows? But I do mean like
Yeah,
next year, January, February, or next year this time, what the arrangements would be for a new league.
right, right. All right. So restrictions opening doesn't mean that we wouldn't still have COVID. So you see, I don't think that Trinidad and Tobago could take the chance until there's some level of certainty based on our movement. I don't think we could take that chance. Trinidad is too small, and we don't have that kind of infrastructure, that kind of resources.
So you
The
think
home
we
current
you think we can't host a league until we get a vaccine or until COVID clears up?
until COVID clears up.
Okay.
There is no, you can't take that chance, especially you see, you have to look at the asymptomatic individual. You have to look at that individual who has COVID, doesn't show any signs or any symptoms, and he's just spreading it. That is why you can't open back schools. Because who is most likely to be asymptomatic? Kids, the young kids, the primary school kids, the kids who now going into puberty in the early teens.
Yeah.
Those are the asymptomatic people. At the end of the day, what are they going to do? They're not showing any signs. You have no flu-like symptoms. So what are you going to do? You're just going to spread COVID. You're
Okay,
just going to be spreading COVID.
as
Yeah.
you mentioned, kids, Coachman, we know you're the head coach as well as the managing director, Union Hall Football Academy. So how has COVID affected you on that personal level with regards to the kids you've been training and with regards to the academy? Before you also, we just want you to give us a little insight as to how you got the encouragement to begin the academy, where it was at before COVID and where is that now?
All right. Well, my initial incentive, I should say, to start the academy was the fact that I got two boys, right? 1 year apart, right? My wife made two boys for me, 1 year apart, and by the time those boys were 4 and 5, I wanted to make sure that I was able to teach them what I know, and I needed other boys to do that. So those other boys, I couldn't. It had nobody on the street. I didn't have any friends. Remember, I'm not originally from San Fernando. I'm from Palestine. Those other boys would have to be boys from the school. And then I said, well, if I get boys from the school to come, maybe I should just do an academy because I'm living 40 feet away from a savannah. And so said, so done. Everything was put in place in maybe about myself and Coach Burke. We put everything in place in about maybe about 2 months. And then we had a camp. And after that, the academy was running.
Okay. So when you came up about against other coaching schools and thing, and I remember seeing videos of One Republic Cup tournament. How was that for the academy?
Um, the academy took part in their first Republic Cup, won the under 11 tournament undefeated, right? And they reached the semi-final, the quarter-final, I should say, of the the knockout stage, which would have been the national part of it, which part, yeah, everybody from different zones go and participate. We end up losing 1-0 to Trendsetter Hawks, who was eventually the winners, right, at under 11 level. Our boys, we have a crop of boys who, that group of boys never lost a game.
Okay.
From since they were about, when we started playing academy matches, they never lost a match.
Okay.
And we put them in competition, and they played out the competition without losing a match. The first time those boys encountered losing was when they lost to Trendsetter Hawks, and that was in maybe about 3 years.
Okay. All right,
You
no
know, so
problem.
it's a nice bunch of boys.
Okay, well, we wish you all the best for that new group. Finally, in closing, as we come to the end, we just want to get your view into how you're going to move forward with it with regards to the COVID-19 restrictions in terms of if you do you keep in contact with the boys, encourage them to do probably some of the drills they might have been doing with them before, and what you think you would like to see when the whole places reopen and allowed to meet with their students again.
Right. What the thing with as far as moving forward with the academy, I keep in touch with parents all the time. The kids, I try to give them advice and just stay in touch with them so that they could stay active, you know, but there's only so much you could do. I saw that the restrictions from the groups of 5 have been raised to 10, but I personally carry my boys in the savannah and with one other kid, which would have made 3 of them. I carry them in the savannah basically every day, every single day. Um, they might get one rest day for the week. Sometimes we go whole week, but I don't want to take the chance of bringing out kids because I am not comfortable with certain things, and the the parents of the academy expressed to me that they are also not comfortable with certain things. So I don't want to make it a situation now where they are where they where we're bringing out kids and that kind of thing. I think let's ride it out until such time that we are able to do the right thing. And the boys and they could do little drills at home.
Okay.
You know, you show them to hit the ball off the wall, inside the foot and all that kind of thing, and do the drills at home. You know, we make little videos for them, and, you know, they could do drills at home, you know.
Okay. All right, Coach Fran, just want to thank you again for your time. Thanks for coming out to Bias Brothers. Hopefully, this is your first appearance on Menu. Thank you for bringing the perspective of a coach as well as the managing director of a football academy with regards to the kids. So we just want to thank you again for coming on and thanks for your advice.
Yeah, coach. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime.
All right, we'll see you guys next time on Bias Brothers.